Hello everyone. My name is Utsav Singh, and for the past 4 or 5 months, I am working as a software engineer, and I have applied for the Google Apprenticeship program for the India region particularly. I will tell you about the whole process, how I applied, and what is the timeline, how I received different calls based on different days and all. So let me start. First, I applied for the apprenticeship program in around mid of October, let's say 15th or 16th of October in the year of 2022. After that, I received the mail for the examination. I basically applied for the data apprenticeship role. So I received the mail for the exam on the 5th or 4th of November, and in the mail it was written that the exam is going to be held next day, which is 5th of November. So I logged in on the given time, that was 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or so. And the exam was consisted of 14 to 15 questions, and the time duration given was, if I'm not wrong, 30 minutes. So the exam was quite easy. Like for me, it was quite easy. I managed to do all the questions in the given time limit, and I submitted that. After a couple of days, after I would say the exam was held on 5th of November, and I received a mail on 8th of November or 9th of November that I have cleared the examination, and in some time there will be a mail asking you for a confirmation about a time to hold the telephonic interview. And after 1 or 2 days later, the mail came asking me for a confirmation about the time slots available for the telephonic interview. So and my telephonic interview was on 12th of November in the evening, and the time slot given for the telephonic interview was of around half an hour, but the interview hardly went for around 7 to 8 minutes. It basically, the guy on the phone will basically check you for your communication skills, if you are able to communicate well or not. And if you showcase that skill, he will not take that long. He even disconnects the call in 5 or 6 minutes if he judges you beforehand. So the questions asked were, tell me about yourself. So you can introduce yourself, you can tell about where you work, what kind of projects have you done in your 4 years of study, as well as if you are working for some time, tell him about your projects. He will ask you why you want to join Google. He will ask you whether why you want to join this particular apprenticeship program. So you have to prepare an answer beforehand to all those questions, and then you can say him. And after the telephonic interview, 2 or 3 days later, I received another mail for the online face-to-face interview with a Googler. So and there was a session held before the face-to-face interview, in which some guy from Google came, and they briefed us about how Google evaluates a particular person. So basically, they told us about the googliness that they look for, and what are the kind of questions they will be asking in the interview and all. And I think my first face-to-face interview was on 21st of November 2022, which was I think 3 days back, and I haven't received any feedback or any such thing still today, after 72 hours. Yeah, but the interview, the time slot allocated for the interview, face-to-face interview, was of around 45 minutes. But in this case, also my interview went for around 15 to 16 minutes hardly. So a Googler will come, and first he will, in the interview, basically the Googler will come, and first he will ask you about, like in my case, he asked me about walk him through my CV. So I started with my introduction. I told him where I studied, what kind of things I did in my college, like my 4 years of education. You can tell him about projects that you have did. You can tell about the internship that you have did, and things like that. And I told him about the firm where I am working right now. And then at the later part, I told him about the extracurricular activities that I like doing, or the hobbies that I like doing. After that, he asked me about a question. He gave me a hypothetical question. The question was, tell me a time when you were working in a team and there was a conflict regarding a certain event or anything, and how you managed to solve that conflict. And he wanted to know a detail about that. So I remember for some time, 10 to 20 seconds I think, and then I told him about an event which happened during my college days in second year, when I was in the organizing committee of the cultural fest of my festival. So I told him about the disagreement or the argument that happened between me and my team, and how I managed to solve it. What are the points that I gave in that particular incident, and how I solved it basically. So again, one follow-up question he asked was, if there is something that you want to change about that particular incident. So I thought for some time, and I told him if there was something that I needed to change, was the conflict shouldn't be there in the first place, because if the conflict was not present there, I did not have to jump into that. So I sort of like reframed this para and told him, and he looked quite neutral. I would not say he was happy or sad. He just has he has a kind of poker face, so he carried it out during the entire interview. After that, he told me about my projects. So I told him about my projects. About There were 2 or 3 projects mentioned on my resume. So I went on to tell him about that for some time, for 3 to 4 minutes. After that, he was interested in the internship that I did, and it was in the data analytics field. And as I have applied for the same field, he was interested in that. So I told him that I worked for a firm for a month or so as an intern, and that they gave us their data set. Basically, the company used to sell used books as well as new books through online platforms, so they have a quite big database. So they gave us the data set, and then they told us to make some useful insights from them, and make a report and then submit it to them. So I told him how I managed to learn the data analytics part, what kind of libraries I used, and how I helped them. And yeah, and I told him that at the end of the 1 month, I submitted them the report, and they were quite satisfied with it. And yeah, this was my whole internship. So this and at the end of the video, yeah, this was the whole thing that went on, and I don't think there was more such questions. And as I told you, it hardly went for 15 to 16 minutes. And yeah, at the end of the day, he asked me if I have some questions for him. I told him, I asked him basically, in which team do you work, and from which city you work. So he told me about his work. He was basically a shopping ad specialist, and he went on to tell me about what kind of technologies and things he used in his work. And yeah, that was my entire interview. It has been 3 days, and I have not received any kind of reply or even an acknowledgement from the team of Google. I hope everything turns out well, because there is one more face-to-face interview round if I clear this interview round. And I really want to go to Google, okay? Whether it's apprenticeship program, whether it's internship program, or it's a full-time offer, everybody wants to be at Google, okay? So yeah, I'm waiting for that, and if something like ensues, I will surely make a video out of it. And till then, peace.